All right. Well, I think we will get started now. Everybody should see my screen. Yes? Cool. All right. So I want to welcome everybody. I know it's a start to kind of our latter half of the year. If anybody's joining us that are new, you're in for another great semester. And I just want to say thank you to the e-board that's currently here. You guys are awesome in supporting what our mission is and spreading financial literacy. And I'm just extremely excited. We have a lot to offer this semester, and let's kick it off with a couple introductions from us. Let's see if I can change it. Whoops, let's go back. All right, so I want to do this because I know a lot of us here, might be new, or we haven't had the chance to work with us either in a class or via BAM or anything like that. So I think we just go quick kind of around the board on kind of just introduce ourselves on the e-board. I'll start. So my name's Andrew. I'm a senior here at Cal Poly. We're fourth year, and I've been with SMIC since way back in, I believe, 2020. Fall 2020 is when I joined. I was also on the Student Managed Investment Fund team. I was enticed by Brian Arciniega, who was a founder of SMIC way back when. And, I fell in love with that. I fell in love with helping teach people financial literacy, introducing some valuations for companies, just doing a lot of kind of workshops and tutorials. I love that kind of stuff. And I was in BAM I was a managing director for BAM over the course of last year. That was a wild ride. 2021 was an excellent year for the stock market. We fell right in line with the benchmark. We got a 13% return for the course of 2021, which is excellent. Our client was very happy with that. I encourage everybody to apply to the Student Managed Investment Fund, which will be this semester, which we're also going to talk about a little bit later. I think one key takeaway for SMIC is, just stay engaged with, some of the things that we're doing. We're all here to help you. We take time, our free time, try to deliver awesome content to everybody. We build workshops, we do all this stuff. So please stay engaged. Don't be afraid to unmute yourself. And, let's have a fun time doing it. I think we have a lot to offer. And, I hope you guys can see that over the course of the semester. So I think I'll pass it off to our VP, which is Victor. Victor, you want to kind of go through that little list item of introducing yourself?
Hello. It's very interesting to be called vice president now. But yeah, so I'm Victor. It is my second year with SMIC. I joined last spring, and I'm hyped. Everything about this club is really, really fun. I want to go based off what Andrew said about all this learning, and it's a little bit more than just learning, in my opinion. I always consider this to be like a SMIC family. Everyone should feel safe to come in, whether or not you know a lot or a little, and just feel like this is a place for you to come learn more. You don't know everything, trust me. I went through SMIF this past semester. I'm now on the BAM team, and there's so much you learn so fast, and everyone's here to help you learn. And don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't think your questions are stupid. Everything is very, very difficult, and it's just a lot of fun. I think that's one key takeaway I'd like to say about SMIC, is that everything here is just about having fun while learning. I think that's the most important thing, because if you're having fun, you're able to be as creative as you want. You get to enjoy what you're doing, and it's not boring like most of the classes are. Here's a little bit different setting. We want questions, we want to be interactive, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, I think SMIC is a really, really good place for everyone to be, because you get to have a family here at school, which is very, very fun to have. And yeah, I'll pass it off to Sonia to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. So I am this semester's treasurer. As you all know, my name is Sonia Kavankar. I am a fourth year FRL major and economics minor. And this is my second semester, or full year, I guess, with SMIC. Just like Victor, I joined SMIF last semester with the fall team, and Andrew and Victor said so many amazing things about SMIC, about Smith, and I just want to I just resonate with that. Like Victor said, it is a family. I've met some really good friends that I've had in this past semester, past year, than I've had in my full 4 years at this school. I've made a lot of great connections, and I've learned so much. And yeah, like same thing with Smith, you don't know that much. You're afraid to learn, or you're just afraid that you don't know that much, and it'll show. And the thing is everyone is learning, and that's something that I realized, that if you don't know something, there's probably someone else in the room who doesn't know the same thing. And so with that, SMIC really helped me get out of my shell in that sense, because I would walk into these meetings and I'm like, I don't know anything. I don't know what they're speaking about, but SMIC really makes you feel welcome and makes you like feel, good in asking questions and not knowing the answer to something, and always pushes you to strive for that next level. And so I just want to say thank you for everyone for joining today. I know this is just an intro to the club meeting and it's not as amazing as the other ones that we have, but we're really grateful for everyone for showing up. And I'm going to send it off to Cam to talk about himself.
Great, thanks, Sonia. So my name is Cameron. I'm the scheduler for SMIC, and I've been with SMIC since I think the beginning of 2020, so a little over 2 years now, that's kind of wild to say. I kind of want to align myself with some of Sonica's thoughts as far as what you get from this program. I've learned so much over the course of the last 2 years, and I find myself going through classes knowing stuff that I never thought I would know. And it gives you a much more worldly view of what's going on globally. It allows you to access a lot of materials that you probably wouldn't know existed, previously. Along with that, some of the coursework that you'll do, aligns a lot with what we teach here in SMIC. So it kind of helps you to gauge your classes a little bit better, and really gives you an advantage when you want to sign up for stuff like the Student Managed Investment Fund. So, a lot of people on our board have gone through that program. There's some who are planning on doing it as well. I went through that program myself, and I'm currently the managing director of BAM for 2022, all the way up until the next year. So, I'm looking for quite a wild ride with how the stock market has started off this year, but, we've got a great team behind us, and I'm looking forward to doing that as well. So, it's like everybody else said, if you have any questions, or if you want to learn more about the club, or you want to learn, more about the markets, just reach out to any one of us, and we're happy to be able to help out and learn alongside you. All right, I'll pass it off to Joy now to go over herself.
Thanks, Ken. What's up, everyone? My name is Joy. I'm a third-year student here, majoring in finance, and I joined SMIC back when I was a freshman, and then joined the team I think beginning of 2020. So it's like my third semester here, and I was part of Smith as well. This team, we're so cool. We have fun together. We play hard. We study hard, and really good to see you guys. Please don't hesitate if you have any questions. We're here to help. All right, I'll pass it on to Jonas.
Hi guys, I'm Jonas. I'll be the Director of Internal Affairs this year. I'm a fourth-year finance major, and I've been with SMIC pretty much since I transferred in fall 2 years ago. Like Cam said, it's crazy to say it's been about 2 years now. It's hard to really say anything more better about the program than what's said already. But I'll say this much: when I transferred in, I wasn't really exactly sure what I wanted to do with my life. In terms of, I was a business major, but I didn't really have any sort of passions. I think SMIC really showed an avenue for my energy and my passion, and I was able to channel it towards finance. And as such, I've joined the Smith team, was on the Smith team this past semester. I've been on BAM. I'm going to be on BAM for this next year. And I've learned so much, and I can really attribute it as like my journey starting with SMIC and with finance. So even if you have an inkling of passion for finance or business, give us a try, stick around, see what you might learn. And I think you'll have a lot of fun with us. And I'll pass it on to Michael. Actually, Michael's not here, so I'll pass it on to Alex.
Thank you, John. Hello, everyone. My name is Alex. I'm a sophomore majoring in finance, and I would tune into the SMIC meetings during my freshman year, and I decided to join the team this last semester. And Like Victor said, it's really like a SMIC family. Everyone's really encouraging. And there's a lot of value in this club, from the workshops to the guest speakers. If you want to learn more about financial literacy and the opportunities that SMIC has to offer, then you're definitely in the right place. With that being said, I'll pass it on to Rebekah.
Thank you, Alex. My name is Rebekah. I'm a junior at the same school that everyone goes to. This is my second semester in SMIC. I joined during the fall when I just transferred here. I'm not in BAM or SMIF yet, but the application is this semester, so hopefully I get in. One takeaway is that this group is probably one of the most highly motivated and motivational groups that I've been in. So it's like Joy said, work hard, play hard, but you're surrounded by others who are working harder, playing hard, so you don't feel like you're doing everything by yourself. So I do highly encourage everyone to join. And I will pass it back to Andrew.
Well, no, I love that kind of key takeaway. I'm glad you ended on that, because I was in the same boat back in 2020. I was like, I'm doing pretty good in my classes, but I still don't know what I want to do. And I found, SMIC and SMIF, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, you're forced to do a lot of work in like those kind of programs. But then you realize, you take a deep breath and you look behind you and you say, oh my gosh, I just learned, I can't even imagine this kind of exponential function of how much I learned in that one semester. So I hope, everybody takes a similar kind of stance on that at the end of this. And, hopefully enough said about the programs. We're going to dive into them a little bit later, but I encourage everybody to join and kind of be part of it. And I know I'm seeing some familiar faces in here as well. So that's very encouraging to me too. So I think next is kind of like, let's dive into exactly what we do. And Rebekah is going to post in the chat a sign-in sheet. Everybody who's here, please sign in so we can contact you after about any key offerings that we might want to have, and just keep in touch with us. If you have any questions, we'll try to reach out to you and kind of facilitate that discussion. So please sign in. It should take you all of 20 seconds. And while you guys do that, I'm going to quickly kind of dive into kind of like what our focus and our mission is. And here in SMIC, we really want to focus in our workshops and tutorials with our new offering, which is going to be the SMIC Ambassador Series. It's kind of like us as students trying to teach and help you guys understand some of these, key topics about, fundamental security evaluation, any kind of fundamental economic security analysis. And we also hopefully, kind of break the ice on Bloomberg as well. Some of the events that we host every year, the SMIF team, the Student Managed Investment Fund team competes in the CFAOC portfolio pitch competition, which, like we said, the application is coming out this at the end of this semester. Also the IRC competition, which is the Institute Research Challenge, which essentially pick one stock and blow it up, find every little detail in that stock and tell us whether you want to buy or sell it. And the team is actually going to be presenting in Finance Society upcoming here. So we work pretty closely with Finance Society. So we're going to try to, do a link on to see if you guys can, are interested in the IRC competition as well. Next is the CPP stock pitch competition. We're going to go into this next meeting. We're going to deep dive this and try to, get a lot of you encouraged and, willing to join a team of analysts to do the same thing that the IRC competition team is doing. Last but not least, we might do a portfolio competition with Finance Society. That's to be determined. And I think next on the list we have, we're going to dive into kind of how we support the SMIF program. And also we're going to make sure we kind of get you what kind of guest speakers you want to see. And we can do that all through kind of that inquiry form when we reach out to you later. So next on the list, we will have our social medias. If you guys are not a part of our Slack channel, go ahead and scan this QR code. You should have access to so many different links in terms of our website, our YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Slack. Go ahead and scan that. If you can't scan it, we're going to get you the link right here. There you go. If you can't access that QR code, but definitely hop on our Slack channel if you haven't already, because there's a lot of announcements that happen on there. You can join our stock talk, our random channel, all these different things that people like to just shoot the shit on. So that's a lot of fun, and you can also stay up to date with what we're doing. So also, our SMIC Plus. So we're gonna drop in the chat here too our interest form if you're interested in SMIC Plus. And what SMIC Plus is essentially we get we try to deliver you know, kind of internships, industry job postings, volunteering events with finance professionals. We try to get you a lot of resources in terms of you know, any valuation models that we might have inside of any of our meetings. Also, you get unlimited access to our YouTube channels, or all of the content on our YouTube channel. And last but not least, you kind of are like, you know, get more priority in terms of any, you know, mixer events that we might have. We haven't had one yet due to COVID and all the restrictions that we're having, but you know, more officially speaking. But anyway, it's $20 per semester and $30 for the full year. So do we Venmo right now? We can, is Sonica, if you want to drop your, as treasurer, she's the main link to our Venmo account. So we will get you hooked up on Slack if you're not already on Slack. But anyway, fill out that interest form regardless, so we can be sure to make everything all official. Okay, no, you know. Okay. So next on the list is kind of our schedule events, and we'll try to get you at least a couple weeks in advance of what we're planning on doing. So here we have the intro to our SMIC, Smith and BAM team. And next up, we're going to kick it off with our SPC introduction, which is kind of that stock pitch competition that we're going to try to revamp and reorganize and get you guys the opportunity to win some money, which we'll go into a little bit later. And then hopefully we'll close this deal with a guest speaker in real estate investments. And we were thinking about a collab event with REA as well on this, because I chatted with this guy. He is so fun to talk to. And just very encouraging of, you know, helping us students kind of break the ice into the industry. So, and I know a lot of us in FRL are taking finance classes, real estate classes, and law classes. And, you know, this guy pretty much dapples in all of them. So, I don't know, Cam, do you want to kind of go over, you know, maybe the stock pitch competition a little bit? I know you've had some experience in this.
Yeah. So I won a couple of years ago. And I can tell you it's, you know, really thrilling experience just to be able to compete, much less get, like, you know, a couple $100 prize, which never hurts in college. But, you know, basically what you'd be doing here is analyzing a stock. I think last year we did of whatever you wanted to do. So you could choose your own stock to value. We might change that up this semester. I'm not sure yet. But essentially, you're just going through, you know, what's the economic conditions like, what's the, you know, the company analysis, dive in deep to, you know, try to understand what the competitive advantage of that company might be. And then you're basically putting that all into an analyst report, like you would build somewhat in the Smith competition. And you'll present that basically in front of everybody in SMIC as sort of like in the same way that they do in industry. And it's a really great way to learn a lot about, you know, Smith and how they function, B, to understand the industry and a little bit more about what goes into the report, and C, you know, you get to work with a DCF and you learn from some of the people who've been doing it before. So if you're interested, please reach out. It's a really excellent opportunity. And if you have some spare time over the semester, I highly recommend taking this program just to get yourself prepared if you want to go into Smith.
Yeah. And we'll deep dive this next meeting too. And the objective here is we're going to try and hold your hand in a way through it, because I know a lot of us haven't done these kind of valuations before. And our goal is to try to coach you through it, have a mentor, have everything you need, have your presentation material, like, here, just please fill this out. Hey, here's a valuation model, please fill this out. we'll of course be kind of there every step of the way. Any kind of questions you might have on that.
Hey, Andrew.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. So do I just drop an email to cppsmic@gmail.com to get more information about this?
Yeah, absolutely. Or better yet, I would stick around to join next meeting where we kind of deep dive and kind of open up this competition.
Oh, on February 1st, Tuesday, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, sounds
Correct.
good.
Yeah, perfect. All right. So I'm going to pass it off to Miss Sonica, who's going to kind of cover the SMIC competition or the SMIC team and kind of everything that there's there, and see, the link between, we've been throwing on these acronyms of SMIC, SMIF, and BAM. What on earth are the difference between the three? So Sonica, if you kind of want to deep dive this really quick for everybody.
Thank you, Andrew. So like Andrew said, we're throwing all these acronyms around. You're like, okay, what the heck does this mean? So Student Managed Investment Fund Program, or SMIF, it consists of 3 different individual components. So the first part is SMIC, which is what you are a part of, the Student Managed Investment Club. The next part is our Applied Portfolio Management course, which is FRL 4990. And that's kind of like, if you've been hearing us say, fall team, fall 2021 team, that's what we're talking about. So the first leg of SMIF is kind of after you are like given that congratulations email saying like you're a part of SMIF now, that's the first class you take, which is a portfolio management course. You learn everything in that, you are a part of the CFAOC RFP competition towards the end of fall. And then once you're done, you're basically inaugurated into BAM, which is the Bronco Asset Management. And that's a whole year long part. So, students like me, Victor, Cam, Joy, and a few others in this call, now that we're done with FRL 4990, we're going to be a part of BAM for a whole year, managing our portfolio until the next fall class is like done with their aspect. And now SMIC, a part of that is kind of just that part where we try to follow as much as FRL 4990's class structure to give you a glimpse of what SMIF is in fall. And then now in spring, we're going to try to follow as much of BAM and give you, quarterly updates, random updates throughout the semester on, how is BAM doing? How is our portfolio doing? And so that's kind of how they all conjoin together. We're just, like we said, one big happy group of just people working together, helping each other out, and just supporting each other.
Yeah. Perfect. And we're going to have Cam in the next slide. He's going to deep dive BAM and what this is about, how much money we manage, kind of more deep dive in these bullet points as the actual management firm, Cal Poly student managers. It's pretty cool if you think about it.
Yeah, it's really awesome. After you've gone through SMIF, you end up feeling like, wow, that was so much to take in at once. BAM is sort of the opportunity afterwards to get course credit and to absorb a lot more information, now that you're not competing. Now it's like we're actually managing this thing. So what we seek to accomplish is essentially outperform the benchmark that we were given by our clients. And we have a couple sets of investors. One is the CFAOC, so the Orange County representatives of the CFA institution. And then we have, specific CPP investors who have their own portfolio. And we manage a little over $300,000 right now. And essentially what we're doing is we're just trying to make sure that we ensure we're getting that maximized return for limited risk. That's called risk-adjusted return. And we're communicating all these results and, updates with the market with the client. So I thought I'd break down a little bit about, these roles in the team. And I think this gives people an idea of like, oh, wow, this is something that I can strive for, something that I can put on my resume. Obviously you start off with the managing director. In my role, I'm basically just doing weekly portfolio monitoring, taking that and saying, okay, let's apply it to the bigger picture, what's happening in our BAM meetings, communicating that performance with the people, who are giving us their money, and then maintaining the thesis and the strategy throughout. Then we have a trader. Currently that's Sonica, and she's building trade templates and ensuring that, everything that we're working with is getting executed. And she also helps me with some of our portfolio maintenance. And we're going to be looking to build out that section as we continue throughout the semester. We also have a compliance officer who's, going through the due diligence and making sure that all this work is accurate, confirming that everything is as it's reported. And they also have the role of being able to help out, with some of the bigger items on the portfolio. The head of economics is essentially monitoring, global and domestic market conditions for, various different things. It's like, I want to make sure that, everything is covered and you understand what's moving markets, so that when you're trying to make decisions for the portfolio, you can recommend specific strategies that could help out. Head of equity is going to be just observing, what are our screening processes? How are we picking these stocks? If you look at the security performance, you know what? It's not listed on the docs that I provided, but essentially Cal Poly has done a pretty phenomenal job of picking stocks this last semester and moving into our forward portfolio. And that's really showing in our performance results. So, it can really make the difference of whether you outperform or underperform a benchmark. Then you have your head of fixed income. They're essentially doing the same thing, but they're tracking the fixed income markets and they're adding in action plans as needed. And finally, there's the analyst position. And, it's not just, a couple people who are analysts. This is everybody. So, after you've gone through the hard labor of understanding a specific type of sector or specific asset allocations, you're going to be the expert in that field. And so when something's going wrong, like right now, we have rising interest rates, tech stocks are taking a hit. That means that, because I was on the tech team, our team is taking a bigger hit. We've got to go research some of our companies and say, okay, look, stock prices are dropping. Let's figure out why. And so you'll run through reports, you'll run through a smaller market report, and then put that all together and present it in a weekly meeting. All of this formulates Bronco Asset Management, and it's just one of the coolest groups you could work with at this school if you're in the finance field. So definitely apply for SMIC, definitely stay a part of SMIC to help you get there. And once you get to Bronco Asset Management, you can reap a lot of the benefits.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you, Cam. And, hopefully we'll be in tune throughout the whole semester on kind of like, what might be going on in the market. Many people on this call are in tune with it because not only are we interested, but we have to for a lot of the organizations we're in. So feel free to ask us questions about, what might be moving in the market too. And we can try to give our unfiltered advice, or not advice, I just say more unfiltered opinion on kind of what's going on and why. So moving on here, I think in terms of long-term planning for SMIC, a lot of us are going to be graduating this semester. So we are asking Tesla earnings call. I think we're going to ask, for some more help in over the next couple, weeks in this semester. We're looking for somebody as a director of operations, kind of help manage our growing community of SMICkies and, really reinforce our marketing arm. I've said this a couple of times, clubs are essentially 80% marketing, 20% content. How you weight them differently depends, but, we definitely would love, some more help on the marketing side. Also accessing new members. We want to expand outside of business. I don't know. I know if Austin's still here. Zach Winkle was a HR major, yet he was one of the most prestigious, BAMLists that's kind of, come through because, he just had an interest in finance. We've had people, engineering majors. We've had people in CIS, a lot of these different, from around the school just love finance because it's so versatile. And, for example, Akash, who was recently in the BAM team, he was an engineering guy and he was the top tech analyst. He just loved it so much. He was our semiconductor analyst. So, and also we're also looking to kind of expand, more financial literacy ambassadors. If you love teaching, you love finance, and you want to be a part of the team, we're going to drop the link in the chat regarding the link. So, I'll also mention that if you're kind of like a freshman or junior standing, because again, that we want to kind of expand after a lot of us are gone. I'll mention like, a little more of a preference. It's definitely not a hard stop. So of course, I encourage everybody to, apply if you're interested in being a part of this little group here. So I think we'll stop there and ask if anybody has any questions or comments, and we'll go from there.
Hey, Andrew, I actually have a question.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I heard that, so SMIF, Student Managed Investment Fund, is for the clients, right?
So the way that this works is SMIC, like what we're do here is kind of the managing arm of these two. We support in SMIC people in SMIF learning portfolio management, optimization, strategic asset allocation. We kind of go through each one of these things. This is our objective over the course of the semester. Hey, can we teach portfolio theory and application? Can we teach global economic assessment? Yada, 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 right? We love these things and we want to teach them and want to, get, industry professionals that also do this for a living and get them to speak to students. And also on the BAM side, Cam over the course of the year, who's in this call, he's the MD. He basically is going to be giving us, along with the team, is going to be giving us like updates on how the actual portfolio is doing. So if you think about it like this is the class. Once you graduate the class, you join the portfolio management team, and SMIC is there along the way for each. SMIC is kind of just the managing arm of it, if that answers your question.
Yeah, I'm a bit confused. So
Sure.
SMIF, you have to be in a class on campus to be able to join that part
Correct.
of the club.
Correct. And that is now only once a year. So every fall semester, you can join the SMIF class.
SMIF class. And it has nothing to do with credits, or does it?
It does. It does. You get 3 credits for the one semester and then 3 credits for BAM. So you get a total of 6 upper division elective credits for finance.
Okay.
And,
okay, great. Sorry.
One of the reasons that we recommend going through SMIC is because it really gives you an advantage when you go into the interview process for that course, which, a lot of students do. It'd be like 40 students, I think, last time applied, and only 11 got in. So, it's a pretty filtered position. So that's why we recommend for anybody, stay within the club and, try to learn as much as you can before applying, because it gives you sort of an edge against the competition.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Go for it, Austin.
No, I'm very interested in this, and yeah, like the club SMIC already offers a lot of what I'm looking for, which is just fundamental security analysis. But yeah, I do have interest in continually like maybe taking these courses, but I'll see how my decision is after like seeing how the club is,
Sure. Yeah, we'll be here.
But yeah, I just think this is a very interesting club. This is exactly what I was looking for. Winkle really pointed me in the right spot, because I do know a lot about the stock market on the technical side, but this is really something that focuses on my very big weakness, which is no fundamentals. And like whenever like a jobless data claim comes out or something report, I just get like, I just like, well, why is it going down? Like I just need to understand these reasons, and I usually don't get it,
Yeah, absolutely. It's and I also want to say too, the advisor of our club, and also kind of the boss or the teacher in SMIF class, and kind of the CEO of BAM, Professor Tom Coria. He loves what he does. He teaches several classes, but he spends like 90% of his time on this one class. And he's a fundamental guy. He loves fundamentals. So you'd be forced into learning it as well in there. And I think there is a time and place for technical analysis, but I think it's more or less kind of security driven. So or on fundamentals.
I think the thing is about technical analysis is no matter how many trend lines you draw or resistance and support levels, you'll never be able to 100% predict like the exact trend, because that's just the previous history. So it's like, that's just something I learned a lot about it. But yeah, actually, Andrew, I have another question with the fund that you guys are managing. Since it's a client's fund, it's very limited, right? Because I'm seeing that you guys are making around like 13-14% return a year, right? I mean, I'm not saying that's bad, but is there like more aggressive like stocks that you guys look for, like growth stocks that you guys try for when you look at like the fundamentals and you're like, hey, this company is like, I feel like it's very undervalued and it has a lot of upside to it, you know, but like we could risk losing some money. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not, I wouldn't say like going for more than a 13% is greedy, because the market does offer those returns if you know how to take them, but it's also very hard to do that, right? I understand that. But yeah, I just kind of want to understand where you guys are from, because I'm actually surrounded by a lot of retail traders that like, obviously like 90% of them lose money, but there's that 10% that's consistently beating the market by massive margins on like
Yeah.
spreads and stuff. And they're like geniuses doing it.
Well, here's the thing. Our client wants to give us money and to manage under certain conditions. They want a specific asset allocation. So I'll pass this off to Cam because he's the current MD, if he kind of wants to tackle that question. I already did it. And I kind of want to let Cam kind of speak for himself on why aren't we more risky? Why is that, why are we fundamental driven?
Yeah, well, I assume that Austin is saying that because it's like, look, S&P probably returned almost double that last year.
Yeah,
So like
25%
in S&P. It kind of goes back to, and it's a very fair question, by the way. So, I saw some people making some comments and it's like, it's a little bit funny, but it's also a very valid question. If you want to take the amount of risk that the S&P has and get that return, you're welcome to do that. But if you have a client and they say to you like, look, I'm here to get the best return for the lowest amount of risk, and I'm going to take whoever can do that for me, you're sort of competing with the goal in mind of like, look, I want to get really high return, but I need to optimize my portfolio so I'm taking very minimal risk. And so, the whole idea of Smith is to build up that portfolio so that by the time that you're finished, you're walking in saying, hey, look, I'm pretty confident I can get you 12% return. And at the same time, I'm only taking, a 6% risk. And sometimes it's even lower than that. We went into the last competition with a fairly low expected return and a fairly like even lower expected risk, but you would never want to walk in with a higher amount of risk and the same return as S&P, because you'll lose. Somebody else is going to try to beat you on that. And that's the game, So building out an RFP, that's one of the biggest challenges for a portfolio manager is how do I justify my high returns with your risk level as a client? But great question. Really good.
Yeah,
question.
I mean, yeah, there's people I know on YouTube that use fundamentals and they just read like the 10 Qs on companies, and these are growth companies, right? And they'll usually hit 8 out of 10 of them off of like the fundamentals. Like Oracle was a very undervalued company this year, and they just read through all the financials and like, this company's, it has potential to keep going up, and like they hit higher returns than what you guys are doing. I'm not flaming you guys in any way. I'm just saying, like, is it possible for what you guys teach here, like as personal, like since you guys have the knowledge to research these companies fundamentally and you guys know everything about it, like since you guys manage these clients like portfolios, you probably have your own, right? I'm assuming, right? So do you guys have the knowledge, right, to just move that scale up? Like you'll move up the risk like a couple notches, but you'll also move up the return on the same time, right? You guys should have that knowledge, I assume.
Well, I would be careful taking advice from people online. First of all, you should always do your own research. A lot of the strategies that you'll see online are, hey, buy into this stock, and they're already invested in the stock. They watch 100 people do it, and then they get out, and a bunch of people lose money, but they made a huge return, right? That's a pretty,
yeah, but pump and dump doesn't happen on
right?
like mega caps or mid cap stocks like that, like
Yeah.
Oracle. So
yeah, but I also wouldn't go as far to say that you come out of Smith like a complete expert on the market. It takes a lot of time and effort dedicated to try to understand markets and fundamental analysis to get to the point where you're even confident making a decision on a company. And sometimes it doesn't even work out. That's why I said earlier in the chat, like anybody who's using options is, they're a stronger man than me, because I wouldn't feel comfortable with that type of risk level.
I mean, it makes sense though, because they're playing against all the Greeks if they're buying to open option contracts. I really have an interest in selling to open the option contracts because the Greeks play for you, most of them at least. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you should take a class with Dr. Roman on derivatives. If you know who Dr. Roman is, he's really phenomenal professor. I think you could learn a lot from that guy because he's also really interested in derivative studies. So, you know, if you're headed in that direction, that's a good place to start.
yeah, I mean, Cameron, I'm really just like exploring like the paths in trading that there are. Obviously, what you guys are doing is one specific thing in the market. There's a lot of different ways, but I see this way as a very consistent, safe way to make return. The thing that I've been studying, I'm sorry if I'm taking up the meeting time. Is it okay if I keep talking or if I talk like after the meeting?
So let's do after the meeting. I want to see if anybody has any other questions, but we'd love to entertain you.
Okay.
Think where you're going is really exciting.
I have a very big passion for the market. Sorry, I talk too much.
I can tell, and I'm glad you're here. But anyway, let's really quickly, or I know we have about maybe 10 minutes left before people might have to go to classes and whatnot. But if there are any other questions regarding SMIC and kind of getting on board, I'm going to drop in the chat here our Slack channel if you have not joined our Slack already or you didn't get a chance to get to the QR code. But there's also our Slack channel. Also, I'll drop in the eBoard application if you're interested in joining our team. I'll put in that as well. And then I can kind of say, if anybody has any more questions regarding any of these things, let us know right now. Or just hop on Slack and kind of DM us.
I have a question.
Sure.
So I really have no experience. I just kind of switched over to business at the end of last semester. Super interested in finance though. And so kind of just off of what Austin was saying, like if I have no experience and I'm interested in like getting into any type of financial literacy, I feel like more of a question, but I feel like this would be the best way to do it, right? Like coming in and doing the groundwork and learning how the market really works. And then like looking at low risk. And then if I was interested in going higher risk after that, like going that route, but I feel like this is like the best way. Is that?
Hey, here's my raw, uncut opinion on SMIC. I think you're going to realize at the end of the semester that we're exposing you some very, very complex things, and we try to deliver in a way that it's completely understandable because it's in the eyes of a student, right? Any kind of, application, job app, or even, interviewing for like the Smith class, any kind of conversational, if you can speak finance, that's very impressive. And it's just by surrounding yourself with people who are passionate about it. Like, for Austin, for example, he's going to get, this guy is going to really try to drill in your head, about the market and all that, or, surrounding with us, we like fundamental security analysis because that's what we're kind of trained on. And that's what we like to do because that's what's inside the actual wealth management space right now is, when you yourself want to go give your money to somebody to manage your money, like a financial advisor, you just want to say, hey, just gamble my money away. We're trying to delineate gambling from investing because I think that's a big problem in the market today. And we try to deliver you kind of a very educational approach to it. So I think this is a great place to start and try to break the ice in terms of, getting conversational with, everything finance. So.
For sure. So like if I were to, even if I wanted to like go this route, like career wise, I would be able to like take the stuff that we're learning in Smith and SMIC and BAM and like apply it to like my own finances and be able to invest.
100%.
Awesome.
100%.
That's cool.
Especially the Smith class. That's why I think Smith is like the SMIC, the club is the first step into kind of that whole journey. And if you're going to be at Cal Poly for, another year and a half or so, absolutely take up this opportunity and engage all of these things. And every single person who's a part of it will tell you why you should.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm looking at just like a quick question for you guys who have been there. I haven't taken FRL 3000 yet. And I have an open slot this semester. So I was wondering if there's a specific professor that you guys would recommend, or if you know.
I could chime in. Chernobyl is a really amazing professor. I think like FRL 3000 is a really hard class to take. And so even while studying for my class, I actually used her her course videos. She did like a bunch of videos on it, and she like went step by step through each chapter, and that actually helped me a lot. Andrew and I have taken other classes with her. I've taken a lot of classes with her, and she's a great professor, so I would recommend Chernobyl.
Cool. Appreciate it.
Another professor is Professor Tom Coria. I don't know if he is teaching 3000 this year. I'm pretty sure he is because he normally does. But he's the one I took it with, and then he's the one who sparked my interest in finance. He's really dedicated to teaching. He teaches really well, and he's a lot of knowledge. It's very fun to talk to. And he's also the person who runs SMIC, so you get to see a little bit of what to expect, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I saw a question in the chat regarding what kind of workshops are offered by the club. So I think historically, and board and some of the members too chime in on some of the things that we've offered before. In terms of SMIC, we've done like economic assessments. We've kind of deep dived what to look for an economy that you want to invest in. For example, China, the United States, Europe. We've done security valuation workshops. We looked inside a discounted cash flows valuation, and we're planning to do that again. And also a dividend discount model or a dividend growth model. We also want to do that as well. And this is a question from David, by the way. We've done Bloomberg tutorials. We deep dive we've partnered up with Bloomberg and Finance Society, and they gave us a rundown of how to manage money on Bloomberg. Another workshop that we've done might be anything kind of like deep diving, maybe even a kind of where to start for a security analysis. We've gone through the entire process, which we try to do with SPC as well. Does that kind of give you a good idea, David, on that?
Yeah, I was just wanting a little more detail on the bullet point. Yeah, that sounds really interesting. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And board or some of the members chime in on kind of some of the things that we've done in the past that really piqued your interest or that you liked working on. And we plan on doing a lot more of through our SMIC Ambassador series. We plan on hosting a lot more of our kind of student-led workshops as well.
Just one more point. Is that during the club meeting hours, or is that something that's scheduled separately?
Yep, all during U Hour, Tuesdays at U Hour. We plan on doing guest speakers, tutorials, collab events, et cetera, et cetera.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep. All right, and looks like Lawrence, your hand up.
Yeah, so I just have some quick comments. Not really. I don't really have many specific questions because I did a lot of research on you guys, and I know you guys seen me on LinkedIn and stuff like that, and I've been like but I would say just one thing is I know just like to like everyone else, like if you want to get into like finance is literally in every I'm telling you, like finance holds around like over 90% of money in the US. Like it transacting like about like trillions of dollars across the US every single day. And what I saw is there are investment banking that you can go into, private equity firms. I talked to so many professionals, and I feel like this is not just a club, this is an opportunity. This is a big opportunity. Like there's no such thing as I never heard of like a club or like associations that could manage like real funds. I never heard that in my life. And I recently saw this, just, I don't know if she's here, but I give shout out to like Allegra, because actually I didn't know about this until I kind of like stalked her on like LinkedIn back in, I think it's like July. And I was like, dude, what is this? Like SMIC. And then I did research on you guys. I was like, dude, like this is something that I would love to be a part of. And yeah, thank you for the opportunity, guys.
Absolutely. I appreciate the compliments too. That's exactly what we want to kind of, offer to everybody, just this kind of like monumental opportunity. And we, at the end of the day, we want you to have an issue rejecting people who want you in the job force. I know that's actually a common theme with a lot of people that are graduating right now. They're like, oh my gosh, I have so many options. And also that is because, again, our professor, Tom Correa, and even the department chair, Beth Farrell, has a huge interest in this program and getting us great jobs outside of college. So thank you, Lawrence. And I'm going to close it out here. If there's any last questions, definitely hit us up on Slack or email us at CPP. That's the Slack link right there. Or hit us up on cppsmic@gmail.com. But with that, any e-board members, do you guys have any closing comments for everybody?
As for the opportunity part, I think it's interesting because when you're in school, you're not obligated to do anything. You're not set to do anything right away. So I think because this part of finance isn't meant for everybody in the sense that it is a lot of work. Everyone can do it, don't get me wrong, but it's a lot of work and maybe it's just not something you're interested in. So this gives you an opportunity to try something to see if you'd like it. And if you don't like it, you leave with a bunch of knowledge and then you can go try something else. And it helps you find what you want to do in business, in my opinion, whether it's the direction you want to go in, or if it's something where you're like, oh, that was cool, but maybe it's not my cup of tea. So I think that's important as well, to understand that SMIC is very good in helping you get to where you want to be. If whether it's where you want to go or it's something you tried and you're not too interested in. So I do want to mention that.
Absolutely. Thanks for that, Victor. So I guess with that, we can close it out here. We'll be at the same place, same room next Tuesday. And I appreciate everybody for joining. I know I see Julio, Andrew, you guys are here. Once again, we saw you guys a lot in the fall semester. So with that, I think we're done here. So again, thank you for joining and we'll see you next week.
Andrew, wait.
Oh, yeah.
I dropped the text in the Zoom chat, but I just asked if you mind if I gave you my number so we could talk.
Sure, absolutely. You can private message me.
Okay, I'll send it right now. Could you drop me a text?
Sure. All right, cool. Everybody, thank you so much.
All right, thank you guys.
All right,
Appreciate it, guys.
see you next week.